my word. Tonight is supposed to be the night that we started new. Fresh. Everything's supposed to feel fresh. Everything's supposed to feel new. We had new call-ups usually, returns, and everything's supposed to feel great. This is supposed to be the best night of the year for Monday Night Raw. This was absolutely the most lackluster, boring, just disgusting show I've ever seen. This show sucked 110%. We had Seth Rollins open this show. Kofi interrupted. Kofi challenged him to a champion versus champion title for title match. Both championships on the line. I'm thinking, A, why the fuck is this on free TV? And B, does anyone really think that Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins is going to go to a clean finish? If you did, you are an absolute idiot. This show tonight was absolutely fucking stupid. This show just felt like, if this is the start of a new year for WWE, I do not want to see how bad WWE gets, because this show was absolutely fucking ridiculously bad. Sami Zayn made his return as well. Returns for tonight. We had Lars Sullivan made his debut. Sami Zayn made his return, had a match against Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title. And The Undertaker made his return after missing last night, which, fun fact, last night's WrestleMania was the first WrestleMania since WrestleMania 2000. 19 years ago. 19 years ago was the last time Undertaker missed WrestleMania. He was out with an injury. He came back later that year, is the American Badass. So, it had been 19 WrestleManias in a row of The Undertaker. So, yeah. Him coming back tonight made absolutely no sense. He came out and he destroyed Elias. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder came out and faced off against the Revival. They ended up retaining their titles again. I feel the Revival are going to SmackDown. We will have on Sunday, we will have a preview of predictions for the Superstar Shakeup, as the Superstar Shakeup is next week. Who will be on Raw? Who will go to SmackDown? We will have a prediction show for that this coming Sunday, so make sure to check that out. Anything else happened on the show is really worth anything? Oh yeah, Dean Ambrose was supposed to have his final match in WWE on WWE TV. I'm pretty sure, unless his contract is up tomorrow, is still going to be on house shows leading up to the end of the month, because apparently his contract is up at the end of the month. Still no date on that. But no Roman on the main show. WWE 2K's Twitter account posted a picture after the show of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, probably giving Dean Ambrose a send-off. So we'll talk about that this coming Saturday on Scripted. But no Roman Reigns on WWE TV tonight, which was kind of odd. Which actually, because they were in New York City, you know exactly why they didn't do that. Alexa Bliss took on Bayley, which just shows you that WWE Bayley's in the doghouse again. She goes from being part of a tag team that begged and pleaded for the tag team titles for the women's division to be a thing, to having them, holding them, going to WrestleMania, losing them, and then she's jobbing to Alexa Bliss. Yeah, show you how much WWE really cares about Bayley. WWE cannot help themselves. Becky Lynch's first feud since winning both Raw and SmackDown titles is going to be with Lacey Evans. The big rumor coming out of the Royal Rumble was that Lacey Evans was going to be challenging Asuka for the women's title for SmackDown, until they decided to nix that and put the SmackDown Women's Championship in the main event of WrestleMania, which was lackluster and tarnished because of how long that show was, but that's neither here nor there. They got into a brawl tonight, and it looks like at Money in the Bank we will see Lacey Evans, undeservingly so, getting a women's championship opportunity, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Also, we had Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. I believe this will be the last week of Ricochet and Aleister Black being a tag team, as the Superstar Shakeup is going on next week. No reason to have them break up amicably or anything until next week. One's going to go to Raw, one's going to go to SmackDown, and that's where they're going to stay. They did come out tonight still with the NXT banners as their names, so we will have to wait till next week to see what happens with Black and Ricochet. I have a feeling they will be on SmackDown tomorrow as well. And we had that brawl with Dean Ambrose and Bobby Lashley. Of course, Sami Zayn came back right after that, and he faced Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title in an impromptu because Balor came out, brought the referee over, told him we're putting the title on the line, and they had a pretty decent match. Then, of course, Sami Zayn cut a promo afterwards, which was absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And then we had Elias. Elias came out, and he decided, I knew as soon as he said it, that if the next person who interrupts me is going to be a dead man, and I'm like, oh, don't say that. Don't say that. And we got The Undertaker. 19 WrestleManias. 19. And you decide that you're going to come back the night after WrestleMania 35 for no reason other than to beat the hell out of Elias and bury him even more than John Cena did last night. Then we had the title for title match, and we'll get into that debacle later on. It was, if you sat at the beginning of Monday Night Raw when Kofi Kingston challenged Seth Rollins to a title for title winner take all match, if you thought Seth or Kofi was walking out with both championships, you have got to be the biggest fucking idiot in all of if you're a wrestling fan and you thought that was going to happen, you are the biggest fucking idiot out there. The match didn't last more than 5 minutes before things went to hell. Just gonna tell you that right now. Let's get this shit over with, because this show was just fucking trash. You have a new champion, and you have a new double champion in Becky. You have two new, other champions of Seth Rollins. Well, every championship on Raw changed last night, if you want to think about it. SmackDown was the only brand of the two that had championships that didn't change hands, with the United States Champion and the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. New Universal Champion, new Intercontinental Champion, and new Women's Champion, as well as the Tag Team Championships. This is supposed to be a great show. This is supposed to be the one show that every WWE fan looks forward to, and you gave us one of the worst shows ever. No Braun Strowman, no Roman Reigns, no Drew McIntyre, and you still gave us one of the worst shows ever. Out comes Seth Rollins as Mike Rogan does the insurrection, and Rollins gets a big pop and hits the ring as Cole leads us to the video package of Rollins' win over Brock Lesnar in about 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes last night. Fans chant, "You deserve it," as Rollins takes the mic. Rollins says, "No, we deserve it." He talks about how he's waited a long time to stand here with a title. A thank you Rollins chant breaks out because, yes, everyone wanted the title off of Brock Lesnar, and thank fucking God it is. And Seth Rollins, who's on your screen right now, looks fucking damn good with that title across his shoulder. Rollins says he feels terrible, like he got ran over by a truck. He goes on talking about taking German suplexes and F5s. Rollins says he took what Lesnar gave him, and he kept getting back up. A burning down chant starts up as Rollins mentions questionable tactics used in the match from last night. Rollins says he didn't do anything that Lesnar would not have done to him. Rollins goes on to say that he is not just a reigning defending undisputed Universal Champion, but he is a reigning defending fighting undisputed Universal Champion. Music hits, and the Brooklyn, the Biggie entrance for the New Day hit, and Xavier Woods, Biggie, and new WWE Champion Kofi Kingston come out. Everybody's wondering what the fuck, because the Superstar Shakeup is not till next week. Fans chant for Kofi as his New Day hits the ring. The New Day plugs next week's Superstar Shakeup. He said, no, this isn't SmackDown. This isn't the Superstar Shakeup. That's next week. They're here because WrestleMania 35 called for a celebration, and it can't wait until SmackDown. I believe Big E said this. They go on about Rollins' win over Lesnar, which leads to boss for Lesnar and a mocking of Heyman. And Kofi's win over Daniel Bryan. Kofi says he was in the locker room watching the winner take all match main event and thought how well it worked out for new SmackDown and Women's and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. If you watched my review last night, I tell you that match sucked, and it was overbooked, overhyped, sloppy, and it was full of women be botching because they were botching the entire match. Kofi said that he was thinking that the new WWE Champion and the new Universal Champion should have the same kind of match here tonight. Kofi mentions the Shield not being a thing anymore, so the New Day won't be involved in the match either. Kofi says it will be just one-on-one tonight, title for title. Fans pop and chant, yes, yes, yes. And I'm thinking, no, this is fucking stupid. This is supposed to be a fresh new start. We don't need this kind of bullshit. And I, for one, knew, without having to read any spoilers or anything, I know this is a live show, or you see the cards, I knew this was not going to end the way some people probably thought. They meet in the middle of the ring. They get a little serious now. They stare each other down as this is awesome chant starts. Rollins says, challenge accepted, and they have some words while Biggie and Woods celebrate off to the side. Still to come, Becky Lynch is here. Also, Baron Corbin will be here to celebrate his win. The Revival get a WrestleMania rematch for the new tag team champions, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Really? Why? And that makes no sense, because back in December, when the AOP's manager, Drake Maverick, was demanding a rematch for the tag team titles when they lost in the Chad Gable and Bobby Roode, Shane said the rematch clauses were antiquated. Are they? Are they? Because why are the Revival getting a tag team match for the titles one night later? Now, me, along with everyone else, probably thought, well, that was a nice little moment for Kurt Hawkins. He gets his win back. He gets his first win in over 200, almost 300 matches. He got his WrestleMania moment. Now they're gonna lose it back to the Revival. Then I'm thinking, well, Superstar Shakeups next week. How can the Revival be moved to SmackDown if they're gonna be Raw Tag Team Champions? So I was like, if Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder win this match, then the Revival are probably going to SmackDown. But we'll talk about that on Sunday for the Superstar Shakeup. And Ryder counters a double team attempt and gets rolled up by Dawson. More back and forth between the two teams. The Revival hits a Shatter Machine, but they did not see the fact that Hawkins actually tagged in. But they hit the Shatter Machine on Zack Ryder. Dawson goes for the Wilder goes for the pin on Zack Ryder, but Zack Ryder is not the legal man. Hawkins rolls him up 1, 2, 3, and Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder are still your Raw Tag Team Champions. After the match, Hawkins and Ryder retreat up to the ramp with the tag titles as the Revival look on from the ring. And I'm saying, and I said it on Twitter, they are SmackDown Live bound after this week. Again, I'll give you my reasons why next week, like on Sunday. We get the same stupid shit introduction that we get every single time for Baron Corbin. He's a former WWE U.S. champion. He's a former Money in the Bank champion, winner, but they don't ever mention that he squandered his opportunity to 5 days before SummerSlam, so let's not mention that one. He comes out, he says he's listened to the fans whine for weeks about how WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle deserves someone better for his farewell match, which he did. Corbin says he proved that everyone that Angle doesn't even deserve to be in the same ring as him. Fans chant, shut the fuck up. And he's just smiling, laughing off mic or anything, but you just know that Corbin loves riling up the fans. That's what makes it, that's one of the things I liked in NXT when he was around down there, because he would just sit there and just have to have his arms out and on each side, and people would just boo him. He would just pick in the boos, and it would be just great for him. He says, very classy New York, and says he would expect nothing less from a bunch of dirty New Yorkers. I mean, come on, it is New York City, so what do you expect? Corbin goes on about his accomplishments and Angles. And Angle, he says about after the victory, he feels like he deserves a gold medal of his own, and out comes, for whatever fucking reason, Kurt Angle. What happened to Kurt Angle's last Monday Night Raw being last week? I did mention on Unscripted this week, or was it last night, that Kurt Angle did sign a new contract with WWE to be an on-air talent and backstage producer or something. So Kurt Angle, in my opinion, farewell match was not WrestleMania, and I will not buy that one bit. Angle takes the mic and says, thank you, Kurt. Chance start. Angle thanks them back. Angle says last night Corbin was the better man, and Angle's career is officially over. Fans booed that, of course. Angle says Corbin's career is just getting started. Offers him a hand and shake and wishes Corbin all the best luck in the world. Angle holds the shake and says, bad luck, that is. Angle lifts Corbin with the Angle Slam, then he applies the ankle lock as Corbin screams in pain. Angle celebrates as his music hits. But then Lars Sullivan's music interrupts, and out comes Lars Sullivan. Lars enters the ring and stares Angle down. Angle stares back. Lars Sullivan scoops Angle up and hits him with the freak accident. Lars stands over Angle and yells. Fans chant asshole as Lars goes up to the top rope and delivers a big flying headbutt to the heart of Kurt Angle. Lars' music hits as he exits and laughs some while heading up the ramp to his music. We go to replays, and Lars stops on the stage and looks back at the ring, smiling as we go to commercial break. That was Lars Sullivan's debut. Very weak and lame debut, in my opinion. We have this big title for title match coming up at the end of the show. Don't you think it would have been huge for Lars Sullivan, no music and all, just storm out of nowhere and lay both Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston out with 2 freak accidents? I think that would have been huge. This is kind of lame. This also makes me hold on to the fact that I say that Kurt Angle farewell match was not at WrestleMania, and we're probably going to see Kurt Angle versus Lars Sullivan at Money in the Bank or somewhere down the line. Why else would you have him beat up on Kurt Angle? God help me, no, that does not. Please, wrestling gods, do not make that match happen. But why else would he attack Kurt Angle? I mean, come on, give me a fucking break. What? That was just a weak way to bring Lars Sullivan in my opinion. I still think Lars Sullivan interrupting and destroying both Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston in the main event tonight would have been a much better debut, would have been a much more powerful debut than this was. This was just weak, lame, and just comes off as why? Like, why? Trust me, we'll be asking why in a little bit. As in, Alexa Bliss comes out, she made a challenge to the Boston Hug Connection because Bayley and Sasha Banks lost the tag team titles last night, and she said she could beat both Boston Hug Connection members together or on one-on-one, so she gets Bayley. This match lasted 2.5 minutes, it felt like. Bliss kicked Bayley around until Bayley rams her back into the corner. More back and forth now. Bayley ends up slamming Bliss back into the turnbuckle for a 2 count. Bliss kicks Bayley out of the ring, and she comes right back in, and Bayley drops her. Bliss drops Bayley with a DDT for the 1, 2, 3, and Alexa Bliss is your winner. What has Bayley done to be from Women's Tag Team Champion, being the first ever Women's Tag Team Champions, wrestling at WrestleMania with Sasha Banks, to jobbing to Alexa Bliss again? Why? Did Bayley do something wrong? Did Bayley say something wrong? I wish Bayley and Sasha Banks would let their contracts run out, go down to Jacksonville, and be somewhere where they would be appreciated as women's wrestlers, where they actually would let their talent shine as women's wrestlers. Honestly, WWE doesn't deserve Bayley or Sasha Banks, or Becky Lynch for that matter. They could keep Charlotte Flair, but they do not deserve the 3 women on my screen right now. These 3 women right there are 3 of the best women in WWE. Asuka's a 4th. All 4 of them should just leave WWE and go to Jacksonville, where they would be appreciated and used properly. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Alexa Bliss has no business being in the fucking ring. She's awful. She can't fucking wrestle. She has regressed. Oh, but she's had multiple concussions. It doesn't fucking matter. She hasn't done shit to improve. This match was fucking boring, and this match had no business being on Monday Night Raw. Keep her in her moment of piss segment and keep her out of the ring. This was absolutely fucking ridiculous. Out comes SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, as she calls herself, Becky Two Belts. Yes, Becky Two Belts was trending. I wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I only got about 3 hours of sleep. Maybe 5 hours, I don't know. It was been one hell of a night last night. But I wake up and 8 o'clock in the morning, Becky Two Belts is trending on Twitter. Wow. That's what I got to say about that. Becky Lynch comes out to a big pop. We get a video package. Her winner take all WrestleMania 35 main event win over Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. Becky mentions about 9 years ago being a bartender in a nearby bar. There are a lot of chants and cheers for Becky as it takes all in. Becky mentions how Ronnie and Rick's daughter did a lot of talking, but in the end, the woman who walked into WrestleMania with nothing is the one who left with everything. Becky goes on and gets a Becky Two Belts chant going, saying it has a nice ring to it. Becky says when Rousey is done sulking and wants to come back for more, the man will be awaiting. But for here and now, she knows that other women from Raw and SmackDown want a shot, but she sends a warning to them. Becky goes on and gets more chance. She makes her exit, but out comes Lacey Evans. Now, this pisses me off right here. 4 months. Ever since, I believe, the Elimination Chamber, Lacey Evans has walked down the ring, turned around, and walked away. And has done absolutely nothing. What gives her the fucking right to even be in contention for a women's championship match? Evans struts down the ramp like she's been doing for weeks. Becky watches from the bottom of the ramp. Evans stops and stares at Becky down. She looks like she's going to go away, but then nails a woman's right into Becky's face out of nowhere. Evans turns and walks back up the ramp, but Becky runs and attacks her from behind. They brawl up the ramp now and end up on the stage. Becky goes to disarm her, but Lacey gets out of it, runs away, and Lacey stands tall to the side of the stage. As officials hold Becky back, Lacey taunts Becky as Becky's music hits. Are you fucking kidding me? First, it was bad enough that she was most likely getting a match with Asuka at WrestleMania. We all got spared of that, even though it was shit for Asuka. And now you have her going for... She hasn't done anything. She hasn't warranted this championship opportunity. And now you're teasing a championship opportunity for Lacey Evans? Are you fucking kidding me? She hasn't done anything. She hasn't even wrestled since the Royal Rumble. And you're going to do this? Nah. Fuck that. Fuck that. There are other women like Ruby Riott, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and others that I can't think of off the top of my head that should have a chance before Lacey Evans. Nikki Cross, Asuka, all should have chances before Lacey Evans. Charlie Cruz is backstage with Seth Rollins. She asked why he accepted Kofi's challenge, and he talked about this being what he loves to do. He also felt a little insulted because this is Raw, not SmackDown. This is his show. And if Kofi wants to get in his face, he better be prepared to accept the consequences for his actions and better bring his A game because a B+ won't get the job done here. Ooh, throwing a little salt on that, man. Yeah. So, if anybody was still excited about this time for the champion versus champion winner-take-all match, then I don't know what the fuck you're thinking, because I knew from the start that match was going to be absolute. The match for what it was when we get there was fine for what they were getting at. But it ended just as I figured it was, even though it was not the people I thought was going to end it. Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Now, earlier in the day, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode said they've been down on their luck a little bit, and they've been doing everything the right way. Now they're going to do things their way, by any means necessary. And Bobby Roode says that our way will be glorious. So they're looking to turn a new leaf and get back into the tag team title hunt. They went up against Ricochet and Aleister Black. This, again, like I said, will probably be the last week tonight and tomorrow that we will see Ricochet and Aleister Black in a tag team capacity when we get to the Superstar Shakeup, which is next Monday and Tuesday. Hell, we might see Aleister Black and Ricochet one more time on Monday or Tuesday. Who knows? Because after that, and they still have the NXT banner on them, even though I wish they would allow Aleister Black to use his personal banner, but they don't do that. Yeah, so it was a fine match. Nothing we haven't seen before. Which I still think that Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, if the Superstar Shakeup doesn't break them up, whether they go to SmackDown or they stay on Raw, I feel like Bobby Roode's going to turn on Chad Gable, and it's going to be heel Bobby Roode, which he should have been from day one. He did show a little heel after this match. Black keeps control of Roode, but they trade some shots. Black with a close two count. Ricochet tags in, and Black kicks Roode in the head. Ricochet to suplex Roode. Gable breaks the pin up, but Black sends Gable out of the ring. Gable brings Black out of the ring and pounds on him. Ricochet goes to the top, but Roode runs up and meets him. Ricochet knocks Roode back to the mat. Gable runs up with a cheap shot to knock Ricochet off the top as Roode has the referee distracted. Roode capitalizes, but Ricochet kicks out just in time. Gable with a big moonsault for a close 2 count. The neckbreaker moonsault move for 2. Roode and Black tangle through the ropes, going to the floor together. Gable and Ricochet trade counters. Ricochet with a big shot to the jaw and gets the pin for the 1, 2, 3. As soon as the bell rings, Roode immediately comes up and nails Ricochet in the back from behind as his music starts up. Black comes in to check on his partner as Roode and Gable head up the ramp, and you can just see the seeds of the dastardly Bobby Roode coming to fruition. Hopefully it's soon. Maybe next week Chad Gable and Bobby Roode are in a tag team match and they break them up then, and then Bobby Roode goes to SmackDown and becomes the dastardly heel he should have been from day one. We'll have to wait and find out. More stills from WrestleMania 35 from Elias and John Cena segment. Elias is backstage now. He says he had something special planned for us last night, but it was ruined by Cena's rap music. And this is 2 years in a row that John Cena has ruined Elias's set, which is whatever. We don't care. If you can even call it that. Elias says the McMahon family has given him more time tonight and he will show no mercy to whoever interrupts him, whether it's someone from NXT, a Hall of Famer, a legend, or Vince McMahon himself. Elias says there will be hell to pay if someone interrupts him. Which, God, man, I don't even know why they do this anymore. I'm over the Elias shit. I really am. I'm done with it. I used to be one of those people who like to walk with Elias, all that shit. If I had those walk with Elias shirts, I'd probably just throw it away because I'm sick and tired of Elias. It's the same old shtick. He comes out, he tries to play a little bit, someone interrupts him. Yay, nobody cares. It's over, it's done with. Give this guy something to do that actually fucking matters, or just get rid of him. That's all I'm gonna say. Dean Ambrose versus Bobby Lashley was to be next. We go to the ring. Out comes Dean Ambrose for what they are billing as his final match in WWE. Renee Young says she can't believe this is happening. We go to commercial break, back from break, and we sort of get a bizarre vignette for a superstar. It's a box. It's a cardboard box, and this puppet. It's got smoke coming out of it. It's closed. It's got smoke coming out of it, and this puppet comes up and just starts laughing maniacally. And I'm like, first off, this feels like a Bray Wyatt thing. Second off, what the fuck is this? And third, this has definitely got to be for Bray Wyatt. It looks like some kind of crazy buzzard or bird that's possibly coughing, appearing out of the brown box. Bray Wyatt, maybe, yes, that's what I figure. It did have it. The reason I say it's Bray Wyatt because clearly that was Wyndham Rotundo laughing, aka Bray Wyatt. That was obviously him laughing. Ambrose waits in the ring as Bobby Lashley comes out with Lio Rush. Lio Rush has the mic trying to say something as he's coming down to the ring, but he just can't come to words with it. They head to the ring and Lashley says, "Don't worry, Dean. When you're gone, I'll promise to take care of your wife for you." Yeah, that one would have pissed me off too. Ambrose snaps and unloads on Lashley. They brawl to the floor, into the barriers, and the mat. The bell never rang, but they brawl up to the ramp. Rush also is taken out by Ambrose at ringside. They fight to the stage, and Ambrose sends Lashley into the LED board. Rush goes and gets Lashley, goes and distracts Dean Ambrose so Lashley can get up and hit a spear. Ambrose drops Lashley with the dirty deeds on the stage. Ambrose clears the announce table, but Lashley drops him with a huge spear after Lio Rush distracts him. Fans chant Lashley sucks. Now Rush talks some trash as Lashley drives Ambrose through the announce table. Fans chant you still suck. And Renee Young, Break's character, runs over and checks on Dean Ambrose, who almost falls off of where he's at into the floor. Fans chant thank you Ambrose and add him, and that was that. So this is his final night in WWE. Then thank you Ambrose. 7 years in WWE, you had a hell of a run. Now go be elite or whatever you want to do. As I've said before, no, this has never been a work. Anybody who thinks it's a work, you're an idiot. If this was just Dean Ambrose being taken off TV for now, even though they obviously did a goodbye thing for him in the Shield after Raw was right off the air, they did WWE 2K18 did post a picture of it. I hope they put it on WWE's YouTube page. That would be a hell of a thing to see. If it is his final night, then by all means, it's his final night. I'm not saying it is, but everyone's like, oh, it has always been a work. No, it hasn't. It has never been a work. Yes, it is very fucking bizarre for WWE to go and do what they did for Dean Ambrose. Nobody has ever been like this for Dean Ambrose. They've never done this for anyone else. The last time they've done anything like this, it wasn't a work. It wasn't a work at the beginning, and that was CM Punk, of course. It wasn't a work because his contract truly was coming up. His last date was Money in the Bank, 2011. He did not sign on the dotted line, and he has been testament to this, until about 3 hours or so before Money in the Bank went on the air. So he did not sign a new contract to stay in WWE until Money in the Bank was on to the night of Money in the Bank. Now, for all we know, Dean Ambrose is gone. And quite honestly, I hope he is. There is no reason whatsoever for Dean Ambrose to stay. Why would Dean Ambrose want to stay? Because he's tired of the hokey shit. He's tired of being treated like he is. He deserves better. He wants to do better than what he is. Like, they took his heel turn that we all wanted to see for 4 years last year. For 4 years, we wanted to see Dean Ambrose become that nasty heel. And WWE gave us that heel on the perfect night to do it. Roman Reigns goes away for leukemia. And Dean Ambrose turns heel on the best night to do it. But what did they do? they fucking blow it. They turn him into a hokey show of a heel. They just ruined it completely. Nobody wanted to take it seriously. The match that him and Seth Rollins had at TLC last year just felt so underwhelming and so bad, and it wasn't their fault. People were bored with the match, people didn't care about the match, and it was no one else's fault but WWE with how they booked him. If this is Dean Ambrose truly his last night, then I have nothing else to say but to say thank you, Dean. It's been interesting. It's been great to see that you were part of one of the more influential factions in WWE history. And hopefully, whatever you do, whether it's going to AEW or just going back to CZW, for all we know, he could go back to Combat Zone Wrestling, where he made his name as Jon Moxley. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens, and we will keep you up to date on WWE and Dean Ambrose if he is coming back or if this was truly his final night. But moving on here, Sami Zayn comes back. We do another, for whatever reason, I don't know what they're doing. We get another Man in the Mirror promo from Mojo Rawley. He's talking about, well, WrestleMania was a success last night, but where were you? Where were you at last night? And he's got this blue paint on his left eye that's like cracks. Like the mirror was cracked. Like he was standing in front of a cracked mirror. And there was cracks on his face like he had, like it was glass or something. So I don't know what they're doing with Mojo Rawley. Maybe he's changing his name. I have no idea. But then Sami Zayn comes out. Everyone was happy to see Sami Zayn. He comes and says, hello. He says, if maybe you've forgotten, but I am Sami Zayn. Mentions returning on the post-WrestleMania show because if you're going to miss WrestleMania, it's always great to come back on the night after WrestleMania. He said his schedule is open so he could really go for a match about now. He asked if anyone in the back wants a match. It took about a couple minutes. He was about ready to talk again. Music hits, and out comes Finn Balor. Balor is not dressed as his Demon King character, as we knew he wouldn't be. Balor hits the ring, and he taps the ref. He's like, come over here. Points at the title and says, we're putting this on the line. The ref goes to Mike Rome and says, we're going to put, not Seth, but Finn's putting the title on the line, so we got ourselves an impromptu Intercontinental title match. So, there you go. Not a bad match. Sami Zayn, you can tell, is a little rusty. It has been 10 months since he's been in WWE, in the WWE ring, probably. I mean, he's probably been in Performance Center for the last 4 or 5 months, maybe. But back from break and the bell rings, they lock up and Balor goes to the ropes, but Sami Zayn backs him off, more back and forth for a few minutes. Sami Zayn, first off, did have no hair. He was cut. He had his beard still, but he was shaved up top. He had like stubs on his head. And he looked, and I'm going to be honest, Sami Zayn looked a little out of shape compared to when we saw him back 10 months ago. He looked a little out of shape. And he's got new ring gear. But he looked a little bit like he was letting himself go just a little bit. Then he takes down Balor and grounds him. Balor ends up coming back and they stare each other down. The crowd is really doing their own thing with the chants and songs in this one. They lock up again and Sami Zayn takes Balor back down. Sami gets sent to the floor but comes right back in. Sami looks to leap this time, but he plays some games with Balor, who looks on unimpressed. Balor comes back in, but Sami grounds him with a side headlock. Balor finally lands a dropkick to pick up the pace. Sami kicks out at 2. Balor grounds Sami now, working on his shoulder. Match goes for a little bit longer. We'll come back from a commercial break, and Balor sends Sami to the outside. They bring it back in the ring, and Sami hits a blue thunder bomb for a 2 count. And I'm like, no, Sami, you got to hit the Luva kick, then the blue thunder bomb. Come on, man, you know better. Balor hits a coup de grace, but Sami catches his leg and rolls him up for a 2 count. Sami ends up launching Balor into the corner with his exploded suplex, but Balor blocks the haluva kick and hits the coup de grace for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Balor stands tall with the title. As his music hits, we go to replays. Balor is back up the ramp with the title, around his waist. As Sami looks from in the ring, Sami looks on from his knees in the ring as his fans applaud him. Sami takes the mic and says, he really thought coming out here tonight would cure what ails him, but all it did was reinforce what he realized over the past 9 months. It generally seems like you fans missed me. Fans pop and cheer. And he says, Sammy says from the bottom of his heart, he honestly didn't miss any of this or any of the fans. They boo him. Sammy says, it turns out WWE is a super toxic environment. It's not because of the McMahons or any of the other WWE superstars. It's because of this audience. Sammy goes on about saying how miserable the fans are and how they only get joy and satisfaction out of being critics. Sammy says this is not the only thing that gives the fans this is the only thing that gives fans any sense of self-importance. He runs the fans down some more, saying the fans have become the evil overlords of WWE. Says he's always done what's right, and now the right thing isn't to come back and save WWE. He's not come back to take over WWE in his best Triple H voice. I can't do a Triple H voice. I've tried before. But the right thing to do is to come out here every single week and hold each and every fan accountable, because no one else will. And he says, see you in hell, drops the mic, and walks out, giving the fans a what chant. Treatment. Sammy exits the ring and argues with some fans at ringside. So, Sami Zayn goes from a babyface to a straight-on heel in seconds flat, and I absolutely thought it was awesome. It's odd because this is the first time since Sami Zayn came up to the main roster that he and Kevin Owens are not on the same brand. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were on the same brand when the Superstar Shakeup, when the draft originally happened. The first Superstar Shakeup, they both went to SmackDown. And then the second Superstar Shakeup, they both came to Monday Night Raw. They both went out with injuries, thanks to Bobby Lashley, or during Bobby Lashley matches. Kevin Owens came back to SmackDown in a wasted effort, in my opinion. And then Sami Zayn came back tonight on Raw. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens with him, but definitely interesting to see. And again, I say Sami Zayn just looked like he was a lot. He let himself go a little bit. It was just like he wasn't looked like he wasn't as in shape as you normally would see Sami Zayn. That's just my opinion. And I don't like the baldness. I don't like the stubs or anything. Come on, Sami, grow that hair back. Elias is back up, and after break, we see what happened with Becky Lynch. And comes the robot. Sharon Schreiber is backstage when Dana Brooke interrupts, and she says, congratulations, Becky Lynch. And we saw earlier that there's a line to get a shot for Becky now. Dana knows she's not at the front, but she's no longer at the back. She will seize the moment if it is in front of her. She says, congratulations, Becky, again, and walks off. I swear it sounded just like that. She sounded like a goddamn robot this entire fucking interview. The entire interview sounded like a fucking robot. It was absolutely cringeworthy. Dana Brooke, you have no chance at the WWE Women's Championship. You shouldn't even think about it. Becky could rip both of your arms off. If you think Ronda Rousey beat your ass, which she did, Becky will do the same thing. Charlotte would do the same thing. Asuka would murder you, as you know before. And she literally sounded like a fucking robot. It was horrible. We go to the ring and Elias is out. He talks about John Cena bringing back the Doctor of Thugonomics to confront him at WrestleMania 35. Elias is here to show us how easy it is to rap. He starts rapping. I shut my commercial. I shut it off for a minute because I just couldn't listen to this shit. He mentions that the next person to interrupt him will be a dead man, and I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that. Sure enough, out came The Undertaker as his music hits. Makes his entrance. Taker appears in the ring as the crowd gets even louder, chanting his name. Elias stares down The Undertaker, guitar in hand. He starts to leave the ring, but stops midway through the ropes. Turns back around. Taker is still staring him down. Elias surely turns and faces Taker as a holy shit chants, which, guys, this is not holy shit anymore. The Undertaker is 50 plus years old. And this is not holy shit anymore. The Goosebumps, the WWE's Twitter page, one of their Twitter pages put out a picture and said Goosebumps. The Goosebumps from Undertaker's entrance had not hit me in years. I remember 10 years ago or 5 years ago when the Undertaker's music hits that the Goosebumps would be there. They're not there anymore. It's not even fun anymore to see the Undertaker out here. It's just absolutely sad. Elias stuns again but turns right back around to attack, but he runs into a big boot. Goes down, Taker grabs Elias and delivers a chokeslam, knocking his own hat off because Undertaker still had his coat and hat on. Taker removes his jacket. Taker scoops Elias up and drives him in the middle of the ring with a tombstone power driver. Fans cheers Taker again and count a pin as he covers Elias. They did count 1, 2, 3. Taker stands up as the lights go black down and his music starts back up again. We go to commercial break. 19 years. 19 years of Undertaker at WrestleMania, whether it was the American Badass or the Dead Man. 19 years in a row. that was broken last night without The Undertaker being there, but yet he shows up on the night after WrestleMania. Can someone tell me why? Why is The Undertaker coming out here and lowering himself to attack to interrupting Elias? Does the dead man not have anything better to do? Are we going to get Elias versus The Undertaker at Money in the Bank? What was the purpose of this fucking segment? I don't get it, and it's just, really? Next. And what we had left, well, we thought, which I knew this was not going to be the close of the show. I just knew it. Winner take all, Kofi Kingston versus Seth Rollins. This match lasted about maybe 5 minutes. And what they did, they was good for what we got to see. And what happened at the end, we come back from the only commercial break for this thing. They trade big shots as the crowd goes along with them. Kofi leaps through the air, but Rollins drop kicks him in midair, and they both go down, more back and forth on the mat now. Rollins rolls Kofi up for a 2 count. Rollins cranks up for the stomp, but Kofi rolls him up for a 2 count. Kofi with a big DDT for another 2 count, and I mean a big DDT. That was a nice looking DDT from him. Kofi goes up top, but Rollins runs up and cuts him off. Kofi sends Rollins to the floor, and he lands hard on the outside. Kofi is up on top when the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro hit the ring and attack the WWE Champion for the disqualification. I'm calling it a no contest because they did attack Seth Rollins as well. After the match, Rollins hits the ring and makes the save, but the Bar beat him down as well. Kofi comes back to make the save. Rollins joins him. Rollins and Kofi clear the ring. Rollins takes the mic and asks what's wrong with their interrupting a match like that. Sheamus said, Rollins says they can do that. Rollins says they can finish the match later, but he's got a bone to pick with the Bar right now. If Kofi is down to help, the Bar accepts the challenge and the bell rings. The crowd was into this until the Bar came out and attacked, and as soon as this bell rang, you heard very loudly, bullshit, 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 bullshit from the crowd. The crowd was out of it from this. The crowd wanted to see that match come to a conclusion, and they came out with a bullshit chance. Nobody wanted to see Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston versus the fucking Bar. And the brand split is dead. The brand split doesn't fucking matter. Why are we having a superstar shake-up tomorrow? Next week. How about we do this? We kill the brand split and make SmackDown Live a Raw highlight reel like it has been for years. How about we do that shit again? Give none of the young talent good opportunities. Let's just have no brand split. Let's make SmackDown the Raw highlight show like it was for years. For 4 or 5 years, if you watch something on Raw, why would you watch SmackDown? Because you would see the same exact fucking matches again and again and again. The brand split got rid of that and gave you different matches and different superstars on each show. Why are the Bar on Monday Night Raw? Can someone explain that one to me? Why was Kofi on Monday Night Raw? Explain that one to me. Why were we even getting the hint of a champion versus champion for the world titles on free TV? If anybody saw this match having a conclusive winner, you are a fucking idiot. So stupid. Who do you think won this match? Who the fuck do you think won this match? Seth Rollins and Kofi win after a Trouble in Paradise to Cesaro, followed by a stomp for the 1, 2, 3. Crowd could not give 2 fucks. The crowd, and I'm just going to say it again, I say it every year, fuck beach balls. Fuck beach balls. We got through this entire show, and you could just see it during this tag team match when Kofi, I think, went up to the corner to do a splash or something. You could just see people playing with beach balls. As soon as that DQ happened, people did not give a fuck about what happened next. Bullshit chants, and then people playing with beach balls. And that was Monday Night Raw. That was Monday Night Raw. You end with Kofi and Seth Rollins holding up their championships as they beat the Bar. Why should anyone give a fuck? This was, by far, one of the worst Monday Night Raw after Manias of all time. This is supposed to be the most exciting Monday Night Raw to look forward to. You have WrestleMania, and then the next night is supposed to be the best Monday Night Raw of the year. Why does it feel like every single Monday Night Raw we've had since the beginning of the year happened tonight? This was an absolute travesty, and this just fucking sucked. I have nothing else to say, but this show sucked. Absolutely. No Roman, no Braun, no Drew McIntyre, Dean Ambrose possibly leaving WWE still, Anybody who still thinks it's a work, you're an idiot. Just gonna say that for the 100th time. I keep hearing people say, "Oh, it's a work. It's always been a work." No, it has not. Yes, it's very fucking bizarre that WWE has been so open about Dean Ambrose's about Dean Ambrose's departure. But Dean Ambrose is one of the highest, like, I'm gonna say highest paid, but like one of the more high-profile names to be leading WWE. If Seth Rollins was doing the same thing as Dean Ambrose, they would do the same thing for Seth. I can't say that about Roman because Roman's going absolutely nowhere. I mean, come the fuck on. He's Roman fucking Reigns. He's WWE property. But if Seth Rollins wanted to leave and be Tyler Black again, WWE would do the exact same thing for him. It is weird, and it's simply because WWE has been trying since day one, since they first reported it. They've been trying for months to keep him around, do whatever they can to keep Dean Ambrose around. If it comes out that Dean Ambrose signed a new contract, it has not been a work. He just signed a new contract. Anybody who thinks it's a work, go shut the fuck up and go back to your day jobs or kissing somebody else's ass. This show fucking was god-awful bad. If this was the start of a new year, this is going to be the worst year. You thought 2018 was bad. 2019 is going to be fucking horrendous. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at TheFrance, hit that follow button over there. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. We'll be streaming tomorrow night after SmackDown Live and the review goes up, Portal Night on the PlayStation 4. Make sure to check me out there. Until then, my name is TheFrance, and I will see you guys later.